Today we're going to be talking all about how to get started with a reselling business. Do you want to get started with a reselling business but don't know where to start or what you need, or you want to get some tips and tricks from somebody that has been doing it for a little bit over a year? I'm going to give you some of my tips and tricks that I used when I got my business started, as well as some of the mistakes that I made so you don't have to make those mistakes. Coming up. What is up, guys? TJ here with another episode of Side Hustle Sunday. Today we're going to be talking about a reselling business and how you can start a reselling business if you are on a budget, or if you have a lot of money that you want to invest and you want to look for another opportunity or another business to start. Reselling is something that's been around for a really long time. There's so many different ways that you can do this. So I'm going to give my top tips for starting a reselling business, as well as some of the mistakes that I made, me and my sister actually made with this business, and how we have been able to become extremely profitable in about a year of operation. Tip number one, think about the level at which you want to start your business. So whenever we started our business, we had a lump sum of money that we could actually use to get this business started. But we didn't always have a lot of money, and we didn't have a really solid business model at the beginning. So if you are a person that is able to invest a lot of money at the beginning of this business, just make sure you understand how much you have and how much you are actually willing to lose. Because whenever you are starting this business, especially if you're doing reselling, if you're doing liquidation pallets, or if you are purchasing reseller boxes, or if you're doing retail arbitrage, there's so many different ways that you can start this reseller business. But the way that we actually started it was we purchased a pallet of liquidation items. So if you see my video where we talk about getting a Home Depot liquidation pallet, if you want to see a video, I'll put it up here in the cards. But that video, we actually started with our very first pallet that we got from North Georgia Liquidations. That's a local pallet shop that was able to purchase this pallet of resale goods, or actually they're liquidated goods. So they're goods that people returned, or maybe it was shelf pull, damage on the shelf, damage in store, and those items are liquidated off, and we purchase those items and we resell them at a very heavy discount. Now, one of the things that I didn't realize whenever I started this business was how easy it was to scale. That's going to be my next tip, is this business scales a lot faster than a lot of people realize. So whenever we purchased our very first pallet, we didn't realize that, okay, we're going to buy this pallet for $200, but we're going to make $1,000. So we're going to be automatically ready to reinvest about $800 of profit and potentially purchase 4 more pallets, because we bought our first pallet for $200. So we didn't realize that we were going to be able to, flip the money that quickly. So I think you really need to think about in the beginning how you're going to scale, how you're going to get to the next level. Whenever I started this business, I did this business out of my garage, and we quickly outgrew the garage. There were so many items that we had. They were everywhere. We didn't know what we had. We didn't know where it was. There was just so much going on. So you really need to think about how fast you want to grow, and look at the space that you're in. Look at how you're going to store everything, and how you're going to get everything listed from wherever you have that storage location. So what we end up doing, we started, like I said, in the garage, which if you watched any of my old videos, you see we were in my garage. The next place that we went to was actually, we got a storage unit. So that's one of the creative ways that we were able to cope with the scaling quickly. So if you are thinking about doing this business and you want to start out of your garage, that's great, that's fine. Just think about, if you purchase 1 pallet of liquidated goods, are you going to be able to house 3 pallets? Are you going to be able to house 10 pallets? 10 pallets is a lot, but it could grow that quickly. And we do purchase anywhere between 10 and 15 pallets of goods a month. So we do have a lot of pallets coming in and goods going out. But you do have to have somewhere to house all these things, and you do really have to think about that in the beginning. All right, the next thing you want to think about is where you are going to source your pallets or your resale items from. So if you're going to be doing retail arbitrage, that's going to be pretty simple. You're going to go and purchase items from like Walmart or Big Lots, or wherever you're going to get your items from, and you're going to be looking at those items. Maybe they're on clearance. maybe they're on sale, and you're going to sell them online for a for a profit. So if you just think about the source of where you're going to get your items from. When we very first started, we went to a local place, purchased a pallet. It wasn't very good. We didn't really do a lot of research. The second pallet we purchased was from liquidation.com. We paid quite a bit of money for it, but we did end up making quite a bit of money from it. So it was a larger investment, but we did actually make a lot more money with that pallet, with that larger initial investment. But there's a lot of places that you can source items from. If you are doing pallet flipping, or if you're doing liquidation pallets, we use bulk.com, we use liquidation.com, direct liquidation, Wholesale Ninja. There's a bunch of places, and I put them all in the description section below, and possibly in the first comment as well, as to where we source our pallets from online. But if you have a place locally, that's probably going to be the better option for you, because you're going to cut out a lot of cost and delivery. That's going to be my next tip, is the financials. So make sure that from the beginning you are very financially sound. You understand how you're going to operate your business. So when we started our business, we established an LLC. We got business checking account, business savings, and that's what we were using as our operating account. Now we're getting to the space of needing payroll, needing an operating account, needing an additional account to kind of separate the funds, because everything is going in and out. And when you get to tax time, you're going to be looking for receipts, you're going to be looking for things, and you're not going to be able to find those things. So if you go ahead and establish your financials in the beginning, you won't have to do that much sorting when it comes to tax time. So this is the way that I think that you should structure your business, especially if you are a small business, maybe with 1 or 2 employees, or even with no employees, but you could have employees in the future. I would have an operating account. That account is the money that you're going to use to, pay, bills, buy office supplies, do your daily things that you need to do that you're going to have to pay for. Do it out of the operating account. That will allow you to say, okay, these are all the things that we need to do to keep our business going. All right, so then you also need to do a payroll account. So even if you don't have any employees, whenever you do an owner's draw, so that's money that you're taking out of the business as a profit for yourself as the owner, or if you are paying other employees, you need to have a payroll account. That way you know exactly how much money you have available to take out, and you're not cutting into the operating account, and you're not cutting into your account for cost of goods sold. That would be the next account. The next account is going to be your cost of goods sold. So that's going to be purchasing your resale items. If you're doing liquidation pallets, that's where you're going to purchase your liquidation pallets from. And just having that all separated, it allows you to know, okay, if you get $1,000 in, and from that $1,000, your profit from that $1,000, let's just say it's $800. So of that $800, how much is going to go into the payroll fund? How much is going to go into your operating fund, and how much is going to go into your cost of goods fund? You move all that money immediately as soon as it hits your account, and then that way it's always, how much you have to spend on payroll, how much you have for operating, and you also know how much you have for cost of goods sold. So some of the mistakes that we made in the beginning is we was buying, more pallets, and we were eating into our profit. So we essentially wasn't taking any profit and was putting 100% back into the business, which is fine. But you need to make sure that you understand that when you're starting this business, or when you're starting a business in general, if you're going to put in 100% profit, you have to know how much money you are willing to lose and how much money your business is eating up every month, because you can quickly go bankrupt if you're not looking at those financials. The next thing you're going to want to think about is, where are you going to sell your items? So if you are doing reselling, if you're doing retail arbitrage, more than likely you're going to be doing that online. So you need to understand where you're going to be doing that online. If you're going to have your own personal website, if you're going to be selling on a large e-commerce place such as eBay, Amazon, Poshmark. There's so many different places that you can sell on, but you need to understand where you're going to be selling on. And you also need to understand their fee structure. So with eBay, it's very set in stone how much you pay for fees. With Amazon, it's very set in stone how much you pay for fees. Poshmark is very set in stone how much you pay for fees. But you need to make sure you understand whenever you're pricing your items, how much those fees are. And how the money is allocated. You know, do you have to wait on a payment? If you are a new seller on eBay, you need to understand that you will not be able to get immediate payments for a while. eBay gives you like an incubation period where you're not able to actually have access to your funds for, I believe, 30 days or so. It's so many days after the person actually receives the item. So if you're thinking that you can jump into this business, sell a bunch of stuff on eBay, and then you're gonna have all this money coming in, that's not the case. Also, if you're selling on Amazon, Amazon's on a 2-week pay structure, so you're not gonna have access to your money for 14 days. Or every 14 days is when Amazon does their payment. So you need to understand the pay structure and make sure that your business is able to absorb that loss of income until you are able to recoup that and get your payments from these e-commerce stores. Now, we sell on all of the big e-commerce places. Amazon or Fulfillment by Amazon is one of the larger ones that we sell on. I made several videos about Fulfillment by Amazon. If you want to know more about that, I'll put a link up in the cards so you can see a little bit more about Fulfillment by Amazon and why we love it. Also, we sell a lot on our website and Facebook Marketplace. It's one of the fairly newer places to sell things, and we actually have a brick and mortar store. So it's a really good way to sell low priced items without absorbing any fees. So we list stuff on Facebook Marketplace. People come by the store, they purchase whatever we list on Marketplace, and then they also purchase some of our low cost items. We have dollar items, $5 items, and different things like that we're able to sell locally because we don't have those fees and we're not shipping those things out. Another thing to think about is your inventory. So whenever we started this business, we didn't really have an idea of the scale of how much or how many items we have. And right now we average about $10,000 to $12,000 worth of inventory at any given time. Now we're selling between $5,000 to $7,000 worth of inventory a week. So we have a lot of inventory going in and out, but what we didn't understand was that we was going to have all this inventory, and sometimes we get into a loop of purchasing pallets of liquidation items and we don't actually have any idea where it's listed at or what it's listed for, or even if it's even listed. And if it's not listed, it's not going to sell anywhere. So if you keep hold of your inventory from the beginning, I can't stress this enough, you don't have to have any like super fancy inventory software. Just have an Excel spreadsheet or even write down on a piece of paper, this is everything I got, this is how much I paid for it, and this is how much I want to sell it for. Just keeping a record of all the items that you have from the beginning will keep you from having a lot of dead stock. So what I call dead stock is stuff that you have in your store or in your storage or in your garage that you're thinking that is listed somewhere, but it's not listed anywhere. You really have to just keep hold of that, because if you don't, you'll end up just having a bunch of stuff that's not listed anywhere, and it's just going to sit there and eat up space and potentially eat up money, because you could be selling those items and you can't sell them if they're not listed. So just make sure that you keep hold of your inventory. We use a bunch of different platforms to kind of keep our inventory in check. The first way we do is we do have Excel spreadsheets that we've made up, and I can provide those templates if anybody wants that. Just leave it down in the comment section below and I'll provide those templates for the Excel spreadsheets that we use. We also use Square. So Square is the terminal that we use inside of our store, but it's also really good not only for a website, if you want to sell goods online and have a website, but it's also good for inventory, and it's good for business accounting. So I'm going to make a dedicated video about the Square terminal, because I haven't seen a lot of videos about it, and whenever I was trying to purchase it, I couldn't find a lot of information about it. So I'm going to make a fully detailed video about the Square terminal, because it's really awesome software and the ease of use. All right, last but not least is you want to think about how you are going to be organized from the beginning. I implore you to organize yourself before you start this business. So think about your short-term goals and your long-term goals. So whenever we started this business, we didn't realize how fast it was going to scale, but we did know that we wanted to start a business just in general. So we did create an LLC, but whenever we create our LLC, we said we were going to be doing real estate. So we're not actually doing real estate, we're doing retail, so it's a little bit different. You have to have things like sales tax and reseller's license and all these other different things that you need to start this business. So just do your research and stay very organized. Keep all of your paperwork, keep all of your transaction reports, keep all of your receipts. Keep all of your inventory. Just be very organized in your business. And if you start that from the beginning, it'll be huge leaps in the future whenever you are, a larger business or corporation, and you have all of this stuff and all these people that you have to provide stuff to, financial information and different things like that. You're not shuffling around trying to find stuff if you keep those things organized. So the way that we keep things organized is we have, of course, like a filing system of paperwork, receipts from our purchases. We have invoices from the pallets that we purchase. When we buy them locally, we don't really get an invoice, but we do have a receipt from the place that we purchased them from, so we can keep that. We keep all of our payroll things. Every time we take an owner's draw, every time we make a deposit at the bank, all those different things need to be categorized and organized in this place where it's readily available and it's easy for you to grab, because you never know when you're going to need that stuff. So if you get in the habit of doing that at the very beginning, it won't be so hard to kind of get that stuff together. So all right, that is going to be it for today, guys. I'm going to be trying to make more videos about this because a lot of people have been asking me for tips and tricks for getting started. And I don't think I covered everything in this video. I covered a bunch of random thoughts that I had in my head. So I hope that you got some kind of value out of this. If you do have any questions specifically, leave them down in the comment section below. I don't mind anybody sending me messages. Send me messages and ask me questions. But I like to have the conversation going where everybody can kind of see it, because I think a lot of people would benefit from maybe a question that you ask that they may not necessarily know that they need to ask that, but then they may say, oh wow, that that's some really good information. Also, it does help the channel out, it helps the video out if you do leave comments and likes and different things like that. If you like these types of videos, please like, share, and subscribe. I really appreciate it, and I will see you guys on the next one. Peace.